Another day of just chilling, just messing around with YouTube. You know what I mean? You know, when you're bored out here, you ain't getting nothing to do, just making a YouTube. Wish I was yesterday. Yeah. Anyway, I wanted to make this YouTube. I think I'm gonna start like just watching a few videos because there's a couple channels I usually watch on YouTube that'd be interesting, especially to me. And one of the channels I used to watch more were True Stories by this guy. True Stories, but his channel I think got something happened where they deleted the channel, so he started a new channel called Epic True Story. And the thing is, I feel like this guy reading when he be reading stories would be amazing. I'm not gonna lie, it'd be on point. Like when he be telling stories what guys be going through, and I think when I went through my thing too, like it helped me a lot to know that I was not the only one, especially like when I was in a situation where I got tricked to raise another man's child, and I feel like I've been depressed for a long time. That thing brought me depressed, but I want to just start listening to stories because sometimes I don't. The only thing I think he reads great in me is story, but the only thing I don't like it's like he's still a nice guy just like me. When you're a nice guy, even when he reads a story, he doesn't truly say how he feels or what he thinks. He doesn't really come at like especially when the girls write something, he holds his commentary back what he's gonna say because when you're a nice guy or you're on YouTube you can't say certain things. But he's such a nice guy that he doesn't say, hey, what he really feels, and I'm gonna start responding.
The marriage was over. She begged me not to say that. I said it anyway. The moment I did that, the performance ended. She started crying. People who cry only after they are exposed are sorry they got caught. I told her the marriage was over. She begged me not to say that. I said it anyway. She begged me not to say that. I said it anyway. What's going on, everybody?
Hey, and that's his channel right there. I'm gonna pull it up a little bit so y'all can see what his channel name is. It's called you know what I mean, Epic Story. Like y'all go check out his channel. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. His story reading is on point.
Hope everybody's feeling good. Hope everybody's doing well. Guys, we are back with another email. First, guys, thank you so much for your support, your hypes. Thank you. I see you guys giving me your hypes. I know you only get so many of them per week. I didn't even know that was a thing, but so many of you say, yeah, I only get 2 or 3 per week, and some of you are saying like I give all my hypes to you. I appreciate that. I truly do, guys. You have no idea. This is a new thing with YouTube, and it helps the videos. It pushes out your video. I'm supposed to be getting it back, but do it. Ex-wife was caught cheating.
Yeah.
Man, oh man. Hello. I've been meaning to write this email for a little while.
And before I can continue, I would just like to say, as a person, I don't believe in marriage anymore. I lost it because I wanted to get married so for a long time because my parents were married. But man, the drama I've been through with females, I think I'm truly done. But yeah, let me keep going.
First off, thank you for all the content you put out. I became a fan of the channel in July of 2025. Okay, about a year ago. And honestly, I found it at a time when I really needed it. The funny thing is, I remember exactly when I started listening. It was 4th of July weekend. My divorce had just been finalized a few weeks earlier. I was sitting in a hot tub behind my rental townhouse with a drink in my hand, trying to figure out what life was supposed to look like after the destruction of a marriage that I thought would last forever.
I would like to say that if you went through a breakup or a divorce, I'm not gonna lie to you. Trying to go back to being yourself is one of the most hardest things ever that people don't understand, because it's like I've been trying for so long to be myself again, I've been so depressed for so long. Like even going around people, it's like you feel ashamed. Like you know what I mean. You feel like people are talking about you. Like people don't understand why I don't go around. I'm just so in my house anymore because it feels so depressing to be around people. I'm just saying. So, and I'm gonna say this, like, what this happened, the situation, the things that I deal with females, I look at it as karma because of some of the things I've done in my past, and I've been trying myself to fix the things that I've done and the things I've broken. But at the same time, karma just, I just look at it as karma. You know, things will get better. I just gotta look forward. But I'm not gonna lie to you. I cannot be. I've been trying. I cannot be around people. It's almost impossible.
You know, a lot of men, they go into marriage. This is my forever person. We're going to be married forever. I think a lot of women have the mindset of, what can I get from this person as quickly as possible? They're already looking for a way to monkey branch somewhere else, or, to level up somewhere else, or leave with as much as they can. I don't think they think that long term like men do. What made it even stranger was that my ex-wife was still technically involved in my life at that point. We were divorced, but she was still in the process of getting her things out of the house. We had rented together. Every few days, she'd stop by, fill up a few boxes, cry a little, and leave. That weekend, I listened to one of your stories about a woman who admitted cheating on her husband and then spent months and months begging to take her back. Wow.
That's another thing I don't get about women. It's like, as a man, it's like, especially the man that I become, it's like everything I say is my word, but every woman I've been dealing with, it's like I could tell they're always lying. It's like lies. It'd be the smallest thing ever, and it don't make no sense. It's just like what is so hard to just tell the truth and be yourself, so the person can know you for who you are.
Wow. I laughed so hard I nearly spilled my drink. Not because cheating is funny, no, but because the woman in the story sounded exactly like my ex-wife. I actually texted her the link to your video. What? My message said, listen to this. This is so you. About 15 minutes later, she replied, wow, so now you're a woman hater? You never loved me. A woman hater?
As when his wife said he's a woman hater, sorry, I hope y'all can hear me the whole time, but I feel like she's saying he's a woman hater because whenever as a man you express how you feel, the things that women have did to you or how hurt you are, it's like somehow it becomes back to you that you're the problem. It makes no sense to me. You know what I mean? But ever since I've been growing up all my life, I've been told how horrible men are by every woman. Like, oh, man did this, man did this. Even from women who have never been cheated on or been hurt, but they have a negative view toward men. But, you know what I mean? It makes no sense. But a man can't say what he is. Either you're a punk, you're a loser, or you're this, you're this. And that's what I said. The wife, she's seen the story. She's seen men reacting. But instead of being like, oh, that happened to you, I apologize, is you're a woman hater.
Is that how we come off over here? Do we come off as, we're not haters. We don't hate anybody over here, right, guys? We don't hate anyone. No. Not truthfully, no, there's no hate. We try to tell the truth over here. There's no hate, though. I remember staring at my phone and laughing. That's what amazed me most about the entire divorce. Even after everything she did, somehow I was still the bad guy. Mm-hmm. Anyway, let me tell you how I got here. My ex-wife, I met her through my sister. My sister and my ex had been sorority sisters in college. They were close friends back then and stayed in touch after graduation. After college, my ex moved to Virginia and ended up working at the same company as my sister. At the time, I was 30 years old and pretty focused on my career. Dating wasn't really a priority. I wasn't one of those guys who bounced from relationship to relationship. I had always been more interested in finding the right person than finding the next person. One weekend, my sister invited me to a cookout. She told me there was someone she wanted me to meet. I rolled my eyes because siblings are usually terrible matchmakers. Sure are. Then I met her. She was beautiful. Not just physically attractive. She was easy to talk to. She was funny. She seemed intelligent. We talked for nearly 3 hours that day without either of us realizing how much time had passed. A week later, I was asking her out. That first date turned into a second. The second turned into a third. Within a year, we were living together. 2 years after that, we got married. If someone was asking me on our wedding day whether I'd still be married to her 20 years later, I would have said absolutely, without hesitation. The first several years of our marriage were honestly good. Not perfect, no marriage is. We had disagreements about money. We argued about chores. We occasionally got annoyed with each other. But that's normal life. There was never abuse. There was never screaming. There was never infidelity that I knew of. We were just a married couple trying to build a future. Then we started trying for children. That's where things got difficult.
Before we go forward, I'm not 100% correct yet, but I'm starting to feel like the reason a lot of women cheat nowadays, because us men believe in love so much, so we do everything to make the relationship perfect, and perfect is boring to women, and they need chaos. If you look at it, the men that they're so loyal to are the men that bring them chaos, but the men that bring them peace, which is what we like. I think we equate what we like, because the same way women they equate what men like. We equate peace as like perfect for us, but we don't know for women it's the opposite. I don't know. I'm just assuming so far. I'm not 100% correct.
The first miscarriage devastated us. I don't think people truly understand how painful it is until they go through it. You start imagining a future. You start thinking about names. You start picturing birthdays and Christmas mornings. Then suddenly, it's gone. My wife was heartbroken. I was heartbroken. But we leaned on each other. Or at least I thought we did.
Yeah, I feel
Eventually,
sorry for
we
them.
tried again. Then came the second miscarriage.
Oh my
That
gosh.
one hit even harder. After several appointments and tests, doctors determined there were medical issues that made carrying a pregnancy to term extremely difficult.
Impossible.
The specialist told us there were possible treatments. There would be surgery. There would be medications. There would be no guarantees. We spent months discussing it. Eventually, we decided not to continue pursuing pregnancy. Instead, we began looking into adoption. Anyone who has adopted knows how overwhelming that process can be. The paperwork alone feels endless. Background checks, home studies, interviews, training sessions, legal fees, agency fees, travel expenses. It cost a fortune. But we were committed, or at least I thought we were. During that period, I actually felt closer to my wife than ever. We talked constantly about becoming parents. We looked at nursery ideas. We discussed schools. We made plans. I had absolutely no idea that another man was occupying space in her mind. Then came the day everything fell apart. It started with something incredibly stupid. A laptop charger. Let me explain. Mine stopped working. I had a meeting coming up and needed access to email. My wife's laptop was sitting on the dining room table. I was asking if I could use it. Immediately, she looked nervous. Ooh. Not terrified, not panicked, just nervous enough for me to notice. At the time, I didn't think much about it. People are protective of their devices. I sat down and opened the laptop. About 5 minutes later, I noticed Facebook was already logged in. Now, I'll be honest. I wasn't planning to look around. At least I don't think I was. We all will. Come on. But something...
Hey, I would like to say something like that about that. I'm sorry if I cut the Mr. Sana. I believe if you're in a relationship, there's no such thing as privacy. Privacy is when you're single. When you're in a relationship, everything should be an open book between y'all. You know, that's the way I look at it. Like, when I'm in a long-term relationship, my thing is open. When you're in a long-term relationship, your thing should be open.
Something about the way she acted kept bothering me. So I clicked Facebook. Then I clicked messages. Within seconds, my entire life changed. There at the top was a conversation with her ex-boyfriend. I knew who he was and I knew his name. Not an old conversation. It was an active one. A very active one. I started reading. The first thing I found was discussion about meeting for dinner. That alone would have been bad enough. But it got worse. Much worse. The messages quickly became flirtatious. Then explicit. Then completely inappropriate for a married woman. There was no misunderstanding. No innocent explanation. No context that would make it acceptable. My wife had been carrying on an emotional affair with her ex. And that is cheating. I remember my heart pounding. I remember feeling hot. I remember reading messages over and over because my brain refused to accept what my eyes were seeing. Then I stood up. I walked into the kitchen and I confronted her. Immediately she started lying. I mean, immediately. There wasn't even a pause. No shock, no guilt, just lies. She claimed she wanted to meet him because she had a business idea. What? I was asking what kind of business idea required messages like that.
You know, as somebody who used to lie a lot, which is, it's like people become the dumbest lie ever. Instead of just, you're bored, the person just say, I'm bored.
Then she launched into one of the dumbest explanations I've ever heard. According to her, she wanted to surprise me by creating an AI companionship app for lonely men and women. Wow. Apparently she needed to talk privately with her ex-boyfriend to discuss this revolutionary business opportunity. Even typing that makes me freaking laugh. I looked at her and said, "Do you really think I'm stupid?" She kept talking. The lies kept coming. Finally, I started reading the messages out loud, word for word, sentence by sentence.
Yeah.
The moment I did that, the performance ended. She started crying, not because she was sorry, because she knew she'd been caught. There's a difference. People who are sorry,
she knew what time it was.
People who cry only after they are exposed are sorry they got caught. I told her the marriage was over.
She knew what
She
time it was.
begged me not to say that. I said it anyway. She begged me not to say that. I said it anyway. She cried harder. I repeated it. Then I walked away. The next few weeks were chaos. She alternated between apologizing and blaming me. One day she'd tell me I was the love of her life. The next day she'd accuse me of abandoning her. One day she'd say she made a terrible mistake. The next she'd claim I invaded her privacy. It was exhausting. Thankfully, we didn't own a house. I've never been more grateful to rent. There were no complicated property battles, no mortgage disputes, no children caught in the middle, just two adults ending a marriage. I found an attorney, I explained everything. I filed for divorce. When she was served, she completely lost it. My phone exploded with calls. She wanted counseling and reconciliation. What she didn't want was accountability, right? I refused every request she came with. The closer we got to court, the more dramatic she became. Friends started contacting me. Apparently she was telling everyone that I was throwing away a marriage over nothing. Nothing. Imagine that. Months of secret conversations, planning private dinners with an ex-boyfriend, explicit messages, and somehow that was nothing. Then came the hearing. I wish I could say she behaved like an adult. Instead, she turned the courtroom into a circus. At one point, she literally argued that divorce should be illegal if no physical cheating had occurred. I'm serious, guys. She actually made that argument. Her position seemed to be that emotional affairs didn't count. Wow. I can't believe her lawyer accepted that and thought that would win the judge over. That judge looked about as impressed as you'd expect. She cried, she begged, apologized, blamed. She repeated herself over and over. She insisted she never intended to meet him for anything inappropriate, despite messages proving otherwise. She insisted I was overreacting, despite filing for divorce being exactly what most people would do. At one point, she looked directly at me and was asking for forgiveness. Not privately, not sincerely. Right there in the hearing. I just sat there. I didn't say a word. That's so awkward. The judge continued with the proceedings. The divorce moved forward. And eventually, I got exactly what I wanted. Freedom. Walking out of that courthouse felt strange. Part of me was relieved. Some of me was angry, and I was grieving. You don't spend years loving someone and walk away completely unaffected, but I knew I had made the right decision. Today, almost a year later, I can say with complete confidence that leaving was the best decision I ever made. The funny thing is that my ex still occasionally finds ways to contact me. Every now and then she sends a message. Usually it's some variation of how things could have been different. How we were supposed to be parents. How she misses me. How we wasted so much money preparing to adopt a child. How she wishes we could go back. I never respond, because there's no point. The woman I married stopped existing long before I found those Facebook messages. The person I loved would have never sent them in the first place.
You know, like I said, I think the wife was in love, but she got bored. Like I said, my clue so far, I feel like a lot of women that cheat, women don't like boredom. Like, you can give them, like, say right now, if you look at history, you can look at everywhere. All the rich man, billionaire, millionaire, they got all these wives that all of a sudden just cheat, they do this. It's because you can give them everything. You can give them your whole world, your whole life, your everything. But if she's bored, she's gonna go somewhere else. Because to me, as I'm raised, okay, work hard, take care of your wife. But if I'm sitting here, I'm working, let's say I work 55, 60 hours a week to pay all the bills so my wife can sit at home. I can't entertain her all day. Imagine me coming home. How do I have the energy to entertain you and make you happy? I'm burnt out. I remember I used to do this. I used to be so burnt out. And the woman would complain. I'm like, what? One more? Oh, you're not helping me with the baby. I just got off work working a 12-hour shift. Like, how am I supposed to just, boom, you've been at home? But I don't know. But y'all, hey, I'm gonna add this guy channel because I want y'all to check him out. Because if you haven't not check him out, check him out. I'm telling you, his stories. I'm gonna start doing a few more of his stories, but his stories be on point. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. But anyway, if y'all can subscribe.